a professional artist, I tried to create a kind of music which I called Hunter's Beat those days. I thank God I made possibly millions of Nigerians happy with my music. So after so many years of making so many records, up to about 16 LPs, and I didn't particularly have something to show for it, to the level of all I put into it.
I came to Britain as a student, and then 4 years after, met my husband and married my husband.
You don't like Nigerian education?
It's not because I don't like Nigerian education, it's just that I just happen to be here. You know, there's no difference in the education system as far as I've seen. In fact, the Nigerian education system is even better.
I didn't decide to, I did decide to leave Nigeria for Britain. I mean, that's very obvious. But I believe faith in God had a role to play in it. I mean, they both I just believed I could do better. That's why I came over to Europe to continue my profession.
Well, I left Nigeria as a young lady, coming to England to improve my life, isn't it? Usually to further one study, get married and have children.
But don't think I've left Nigeria completely, because I still do have my work published in Nigeria.
In which newspaper is that?
In Sunday Times. We have this Our Roots also published in Sunday Times in Nigeria, and definitely I'm in touch with what's going on in Nigeria, but I just have my base in the UK.
I worked a little bit, then you start having children. Then after some time, my husband started a business. Then when I saw how it was going, then I decided to leave my job to help him run the business. And ever since, I've not gone to work. Well, somehow it was, but things are not as good as they used to be. But we're coping.
I have been coming here for the past 6 years now to teach summer schools, and the demand had been there. People wanted me to do more work here and not just teach the art of my choreography or teach the art of dance of Africa, but also they wanted me to show them in performance what the concept of African dance is.
The one that broke my camel's back was when I released Amebo. Amebo is Bamleya Womelo. The same thing happened with Mama Mi Wolo Lufel, or maybe you must have heard that. I know you heard that. All work and no money. So I decided, well, enough is enough. I want to go to Europe. Not that if I come to Europe I'm going to be a millionaire immediately. It's not easy over here to bet. You play to the audience who appreciate what you're doing, at least. So that's why I had to leave that country. That was since '83, really.
I've been living in London. I used to live in London since 1976. Well, I would say this is my second home, because you can change your country and you can change your citizenship. You cannot change your nationality. But I've been living in this country since 1976. I have a lot of followers in London.
So when I retired from ABU, and so I decided to explore. One, it's good for the artist. Besides showing your work worldwide or sharing your experience worldwide, it's good to be able to learn new things too. So as I'm working here, I'm learning quite a few things too.
We are on a world tour, and the world tour, there's no way you can cover the world within the next 3 months. There's no way you can do that. You can't do that, because when you say world tour, there are different meanings to world tour. Some people will cover 2 countries and go back home to say they cover the world. We've been able to cover more than 9 different countries. Yeah, we've been to Italy, we've been to Spain, we've been to Germany, we've been to Netherlands. Yeah, we are here in Great Britain. We've been to Norway, we've been to Austria, Many places. We've been to Belgium. And we are on the way. We're going to America. We're going to Canada.
There are two groups of Nigerians who come to this country. The first set are those who know what they're coming to do. The second set are those who are just desperate to leave the country without knowing where they're heading to or where they're going. So I would say that's why we have the influx of Nigerians into this country, and not just this country, various countries all over the world. You'd be surprised that there are Nigerians on every surface, on every country in this world.
Many people unfortunately have been told when they were young that once they get a certain standard of education and so on and so forth, they will end up being rich. Now, so when they go through all that process of primary education, university, and then they are waiting to be rich, and they are not rich, they are still desperate.
Pre the economic catastrophe, I'll call it, Nigerians are born travelers. Nigerians have always traveled. It's just that the influx these days is much more than we are used to. And this is simply because there aren't enough stimulating situation in Nigeria. Nigeria doesn't have the stimulating situation for them now. I mean, there aren't enough jobs, and the jobs are not, I mean, if you compare it to what their qualifications are or what they can do in other parts of the world. So they are not just in Britain. There are Nigerians in America, there are Nigerians in Belgium.
It is the fact that there are problems in Nigeria, but there must be a way of people sitting down in Nigeria with people who may be able to assist them, to sit down and look at what the problems that they're encountering in Nigeria are, whether or not there are the possibility of resolving those problems in Nigeria, and whether or not the best thing in their circumstance is to leave that country and go elsewhere.
I arrived this country in 1963. The time I came to this country, you know, the technicians, they were looking for technicians, and I came then as a technician from Nigeria, you know, as an immigrant worker.
I've been staying in Britain now for about 22 years. Well, in fact, at a time I did come home. I came home and then I came back again. Well, I just have a natural likeness for this country anyway. At least I'm very grateful to God that I've made a success here in Britain. So I have no cause to regret my stay in Britain at all.
I came to Britain in 1962 on a 2 weeks holidays. But during those 2 weeks, my own personal experience made me so bitter. And I decided to do something about it because of the loneliness, the rejection, and the frustration I felt within the 2 weeks. So my 2 weeks holiday or 2 weeks visit to Britain has now lasted 32 years.